All right, welcome back to the big board. Quick little snippet. We've continued play, and I know I said I was probably going to stop around the July 1 turn 8, but we've continued on into top of July 2, I believe we're at now. So, interesting little situation. Allies had run out of resource points, and so they were unable to get the extra fortifications built that they needed, and or they had not rolled successfully to have them convert. It's almost like they ought to get a bonus DRM if they miss being successful with the fortification construction. On the first turn they try, the second turn they should get some sort of bonus. Well, not turn, but impulse rather. Anyway, neither here nor there. So the Germans built two significant stacks and decided to punch just head on into this defensive line in front of Mercer Matru here. And so the first stack was the 3 battalions of armor from 5th Light and 15th Panzer, and then the mechanized infantry from 15th as well. And the second stack consisted of 1 battalion from 15th Panzer, and then 4 units from all the mechanized infantry or light troops, as the case may be, from 5th Light. Anything that was motorized that had a decent combat value punched into here. And the cool thing is that you can make these, try and min-max these stacks, because only a maximum of 30 factors can attack and only a maximum of 15 factors can defend. So the worst you're ever going to get, assuming you can max everything out, is a 2-to-1. And it's more likely going to be a 2-to-1 most of the time. It's going to be very difficult to get a 3-to-1. Now you get a combined arms bonus, right? So that's almost guaranteed nearly every time. So that'll bump you up to 3-to-1 odds. And then it's a function of, well, now do I have, and this is all assuming you have supply, do I have artillery or air, and what does my opponent have? And I think that's going to be there. And then there's obviously the armor shifts that may come into play depending on the terrain that you're fighting into. So it's an interesting little situation where 9 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10, I don't know what the right ratio is because I'm only on my first gameplay here. You're going to get somewhere between 3 and 5-to-1, and probably a 4-to-1 attack, which is pretty decent. There's only one result that generates an A1 D1, where both sides lose a step, and then there's a DRX, which means both sides lose a step as well. But the defender, I think, is then going to have to retreat. Yeah, that's right. And so, two bad results out of 6 is pretty rough. But same thing happens at 5-to-1 as well. So there's, it's very difficult to maintain or stay in that 6-to-1, 7-to-1 category. And even at 6-to-1, you've got an A1, D1 result there anyway. So I'm trying to get myself over this fear of losing steps as the Axis player. I'm not so worried about it as the Allied player, because there's just a constant flow of replacements and reinforcements and things like that. So I'm not too upset when I lose a step. I'm more upset about losing geographical location because of the nature of the board. But the Germans, I've been very hesitant to take losses. I've only lost maybe 3 or 4 steps in 8 turns, and I think I've been way too conservative. So this is why I decided to get after it on this. And in fact, I need to lose a step here, and I'm going to have to lose. Well, I think I can choose any one off an A1 D1, so I'll lose this step since I have a replacement. Actually, you know what? I have an armor replacement. I can probably, well, I may lose it shipping it here, so we'll see. All right, we'll just take a loss there, and I may have to correct that. That may be incorrect. I'm not sure if I've got to lose a step for the most powerful unit or not. I have to check that, and don't want to do that while we're doing the video. So that's a little update for you. We're about to start July 2 turn, and lots of German penetration here, pushed back a lot of units in full retreat, knocked out some steps. But you know, as we can see, there's a plethora of forces here to sort of plug the gaps and hold the line as we await further reinforcement. And I'm seriously looking for opportunities to counterattack, but have not yet had the gumption as the Allies to pull that together, mainly because their die rolls have been really weak when it comes to what am I trying to say here? Become very weak, have been weak in regards to the resource points and assets that have been won, and I used a lot of them up defending Tobruk for the extended period of time that I did. So it's been a pretty interesting little scenario here, and we're now facing a little bit of a conundrum. If I wanted to try and launch a counterattack, because I kind of have enough forces here, it would be a little tricky to do it, but I certainly have the supply to make that happen. And I've got some units out of frame here that I'm bringing on, the replacement units that I'm bringing on to rebuild some units. And then also off in the distance, you can see I've got dead units over here that we can bring back to the table at some point shortly too. All right, talk to everybody soon. Roll dice. Ciao.